Do you ever start a project you don't know how to finish? Because I'm pretty sure that's how my wife feels about me, and that's definitely how I feel about these table legs. I saw this cool steel design and I wanted to try to make them out of wood, but I didn't actually know how to do that. So I just started with the initial cuts and cut them to width, and that was easy enough. Then I cut the angles, and that was a little more difficult. And then I got to these notches, and that was extremely difficult. This was a multi-hour, probably actually multi-day process, but eventually it was all starting to come together, literally and figuratively. I did make a couple mistakes though. The first mistake is how I clamped it, and I know it seems obvious now I shouldn't put the clamp right there, but I do have a fix for that, and I've never actually done this before, but I've seen it done quite a few times. That's just to get it wet and hit it with an iron, and it's supposed to just pop right out, and sure enough, it did pop out, and it sanded out extremely easy. This was actually a really fun process, and one time the internet didn't let me down. You could also argue that I should have done this routing process before I assembled it, but the problem is, if I messed up one of them, if I went across the wrong piece where I shouldn't have, I would basically completely ruin it. And this way, I do have to fix a bunch of these corners by hand, but each one only takes me about 10-15 seconds, and this way I'm guaranteed not to destroy the project. One thing I definitely should have done is I should have sanded all these pieces before I glued them together, because getting the sandpaper into all those tight little cracks was an absolute nightmare, but I did get through it. Now just the finishing process and home stretch. And if you want some free plans on these table legs, you're gonna have to make them yourself, because I don't even remember how I made these.